Originally, when I started my studies at university, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I wanted to learn something about other cultures, wanted to learn new languages. After my first year of studying Chinese languages and cultures at the University of Heidelberg in Germany, when doing my studies, I was also slightly frustrated that if you study Sinology, Chinese studies, it's all about historical texts. It's all about the written word by people, by the powerful. So that is how I had the idea to maybe study archaeology, because archaeology is incredibly powerful in giving a voice to people who don't have a voice in historical records. I was reading, of course, literature and came across the name Lothar von Falkenhausen, and so he advised me to go to Beida, to Beijing University, and he was incredibly generous to say I was allowed to use his name when going to Beida. Professor Sun Hua was volunteered to take care of me, and he did so in an amazing manner. And then whenever there was a break, Sun Hua sent me on the road to go to excavations, and I also participated in excavation work for a couple of months. All of this, mind you, happened during my year at Peking University in 2006 to 2007. So one of them was in connection with the Sanxia project, with the Three Gorges Dam construction. So that was interesting to see how such a big project can work and what the challenges are. And a place where I spent a lot more time, somewhat harsh conditions, was Wucheng in Jiangxi. The best thing about it, really, besides the wonderful archaeology, was learning more about how people live there and how they see their own heritage. It's not just about what anybody in any capital or county capital decides. It has to work. Archaeologists have to work with locals and should work with locals, and it is their history, it's their area, it's their soil, and they have the local knowledge, they have the manpower to help us actually do these excavations. Another excavation that I participated in, and that was an excavation at the site of Jinsha in Sichuan. Even people who maybe don't know the name of the site have seen one of its objects, and that is the gold disc with the suns and the birds around it that has come to symbolize cultural heritage, management and archaeology in China. It was both very educational and also great fun. And that ended up being one of the places I went back to. Through both Jiang Zhanghua and Sun Hua, I then was connected to people in Liangshan, in the Liangshan region, where I ended up doing my dissertation work. So I work on many different sites in many different regions. I have had my start in southwest China, and that will always have a special place. It is a place that has seen a lot of different people and groups come through, intermingle, leave their traces, interact with each other, and interact with a very, very special environment that is incredibly diverse and allows for many different ways of living, really. In terms of the work that I've been doing there, I've been mostly interested in, again, in the marginal and marginalized, so to speak. I mean, these big civilizations, it's all fine, it's all interesting, but what is happening outside of these? And there I find Southwest China to be particularly fruitful of a region to look at because of its great biodiversity, especially in the mountain areas. This is not, actually that applies to the whole eastern rim of the Tibetan Plateau and beyond. As everybody, I'm involved in several projects, most of which are unfortunately on hold because of the pandemic. The biggest one probably is the project in Jiuzhaigou, in Sichuan, which is about adaptation to marginal environments, and we're working with the Sichuansheng Kaogu Yanjiuyuan. At first, the first step we took was to do a survey to look at various sites in a high altitude mountain region of Sichuan, where we found that people have been living at much higher altitudes than previously thought during much earlier periods of time. People have lived there and been connected to areas further north and further south very early on, already during the Neolithic. So a lot of people who look at Chinese archaeology will wonder about it, see all the differences, see things that are done differently, but the problem with that is actually that the point of view is oftentimes one that sees the Anglo-American way of doing things as the standard, and then sees that in China things are done differently and marvels at it, oftentimes also criticizes it and doesn't understand it. While in reality, actually most countries around the world do archaeology more similar to China, meaning great attention to detail, meticulous excavations, typology-based work, typochronologies, trying to establish local chronological cultural developments, cultural history. China is so incredibly diverse, and that is beauty and a strength. And that is where China is maybe special, in being such a big country, such a diverse country, but with a continuous recorded history over a very, very long period. So it's not like it isn't special. It very much is. It is also very much special to me. It's also special in the sense of like that the past is so present in everyday life, in politics, in today.